motivation for the athletes here in Houston as round two gets underway. Chandler working off of that jab early. Oh! Knocked out for Oliveira now. Now a knee to the body for Charles and a right hand. Chandler retreats. Now Chandler is down. Charles.
Welcome to Kyle Anthony's UFC Betting Show. I am Kyle Anthony, and welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the betting show for UFC 274, a title fight between Charles Oliveira and Justin Gaethje. We're going to be breaking down the main event, of course, and as well as another main card play. So excited to break both of those down, but we are coming off another profitable evening, 3-1 last weekend on our client plays. Did go 2-0 on our free plays here last weekend as well. But we did go 3-1, hit on our 4% best bet play, as well as the free client play that I gave out last week, which was Vera plus 120. It was a nice showing there for him. Got out there, got the job done, beat Rob Font. We get to cash in on that one. And today, once again, I'm giving another free client play. It's going to be on the main event, so we're going to be breaking all that down. But I do have this week a 5% max bet play. I'm 10-3 over the last 14 months on that play, so I got a very strong spot. Love the price. Going to be looking at pushing that streak a little bit to 11-3. But I will have more plays. I'm probably going to have about 4 plays, maybe 4 or 5 plays for clients. So if you want to become a client, link down in the description. But let's get into the main event of the evening. Really excited about this one here between Charles Oliveira and Justin Gaethje. Now, right now we've got line ticked up a little bit here. You've got Charles Oliveira roughly around the minus 188, 190. Coming back on Justin Gaethje, plus 150, 152. Somewhere around there is what we're seeing. But like we always do here, we're going to talk about each fighter, the last 3 fights, see what we see if one fighter can expose the other, and if the line makes sense to place a wager. So, we're first going to be talking about Charles Oliveira, and 3 fights ago, he fought Tony Ferguson. Now, this one here, it really just shows the level and really where Charles Oliveira is when it comes to his ground game, when it comes to just really putting it all together, and he went out over those 3 rounds and absolutely dominated Tony Ferguson here. There was really not much there. He had him full mount. Even in the end of that first round, I mean, he had Tony's arm in a pretzel, and the guy just did not want to tap. It was incredible. A lot of credit to him, but he goes into the second round, excuse me, more of the same, top control, dominating him, keeping Tony Ferguson there, which a lot of times people don't want to be in Tony's guard. They don't want to be there. He's creative. He can throw the elbows. A lot of things can happen there, and just how confident Charles Oliveira was. He goes out there, does get a decision victory. I think it was 30-27 on all the cards. So goes out there and dominates, and there you have it there. Charles Oliveira gets the victory over Tony Ferguson. 2 fights ago, he fought Michael Chandler. This was a great fight here, and this really started to show, although we were slowly starting to see it, really the elevation of striking from Charles, really this guy who, hey, he's starting to become fluent and kind of starting to have some offensive attacks on the feet. He really started putting it together, and it just shows how well-rounded this guy is, great champion that he is. The comfort level on the feet too that he had against a guy like Chandler who's got power. And early in this fight here, it was another situation where right away you get to see how quickly and how fast Charles Oliveira is once he latches onto you. And he ended up getting Chandler to the ground, got his back, and this is probably the worst place that you want to be, especially early in a fight against somebody like Charles Oliveira. But I got to give credit also to Chandler there. The way he got out of that, had his back, switched out of it, ended up getting back on the feet. But you saw that the end of that first round, really how well that Charles Oliveira, again, just the way that he's moving, he's comfortable on the mat, getting on the feet, but you saw the power of Chandler. Chandler hurt him, kind of dropped him. It looked like there was for a minute there that he may have been out. Throwing the big shots, got on top of him, ended that first round, and I think that actually gave him a lot of confidence going into that second round. And I think he kind of maybe had a lapse of judgment for just a split second, but that hook, that left hook that came from Charles Oliveira was brilliant. I mean, it was just a perfectly placed, perfect shot, set up beautifully, threw it, dropped them, and then it just swarmed on him and ended up getting the finish there. It really says a lot, again, not just that, hey, can he, fight on the feet? Of course he can, but now he's showing he has power, he's showing the precision, he's getting people worrying about the takedowns, and then he's able to land some big shots. So he goes out there, gets a second round finish over Michael Chandler, and then most recently he fought Dustin Poirier. Now, this was one here where, again, you've got a situation here where you've got, Poirier has weapons. There's definitely no doubt about it. The guy's got weapons, but his biggest thing is his boxing. He's going to box. He's going to stand, in that phone booth. He's going to look to take shots. He's fine taking shots. He's durable. And he's basically figuring, you're not going to hurt me as bad as I'm going to hurt you. We're going to, take one to give one kind of thing. And this is kind of where he starts to have some success in this first round. Landed some nice shots. Both guys landed big. That first round was an all-time round. I mean, they both were landing, both hurt. Both were rocked in different spots. There's a spot where all like, oh my God, looks like Charles is in a bad spot, and all of a sudden Poirier comes back. Really, really interesting there in that first round. But the game changer for me, and it just again shows the creativity in the striking and just the awareness of Oliveira, was Dustin was having success on the feet. There was definitely some success on the feet there, but the fact he started working the body, that's one thing that Poirier's, he's kind of a headhunter, and the way that he realized, hey, I can't get in there, he started throwing some knees to the body, front kicks to the body, that slowed down Poirier massively. And going into that third round, it looked like he really just, the gas was down, and then that's really when you saw Oliveira had success. Again, a standing rear naked choke, gets on his back, gets the finish. I mean, very impressive again, where he didn't even have to take him down. Did find success, so there you have it there. He does submit Dustin Poirier in that third round. And then the other side, we've got Justin Gaethje. Now, 3 fights ago, he also fought Tony Ferguson. And this was one here, 5-rounder, a dominating performance also from Justin Gaethje against Tony Ferguson. Ferguson just didn't have much. The one thing you did see, did have durability, took a lot of shots, took massive, massive damage, couldn't put him away. There were spots that probably looked like maybe he should have been put away and wasn't. Either way, I'm not going to really dive into this one here because I really want to dive into this next one. But he goes out there, he gets the 5th round stoppage. But he gets the win over Tony Ferguson. And 2 fights ago, he fought Khabib Nurmagomedov. Now, this is the fight that everyone's kind of talking about and kind of judging it into what's going to be happening Saturday night. I'm going to dive into that a little bit more once I kind of piece this all together, but let's quickly go over the Khabib fight. So this was one here where early both guys had a lot of movement, a lot of going around, and you saw that the way Gaethje wants to be. Now, this is something he's probably going to do a little bit Saturday night too, is keep moving, stay at range, work your leg kicks, work your boxing, bounce out of the way. Don't get your back up against the fence, keep moving, stay on your bike as much as you can, because you know that the relentless takedowns are going to be coming. The heavy pressure from Khabib. Khabib was in his face for most of that first round, going in there, trying to utilize the jab a little bit, and from there, that's really where Gaethje was trying to utilize those leg kicks. Now, he's trying to get awkward angles for Khabib so he can throw a leg kick and get out of the way without any opportunities for level change coming from Khabib. But this was a spot here where early in that fight, it was kind of, guys were patient. He started landing some of the nice leg kicks, which did help in that position. But the one thing, though, here is that you saw in the end of that first round, he was landing those leg kicks. That was really, you start to see, Khabib, again, doesn't take many of these leg kicks, start to hurt you, start to really debilitate your movement. And this is really what happened early. And then you saw Khabib gets the takedown, had some opportunity on top. But going into that, the second round, it was, Khabib says, I don't want to stand anymore. I don't want to be boxing with you anymore. We're going to what we could do. Went out there, got the takedown, quickly transitioned into a triangle choke, gets the finish in that second round. So there you have it there. And then most recently, Justin Gaethje fought Michael Chandler. This was a fight here where it was just a massive brawl. These two guys brawled, they stood, they traded, they brawled, they went back and forth, trading leg kicks, trading big shots. Again, the first round was just an absolute war. But then you started to see really Gaethje picking up the steam, and this is something that he's done over his career, is that he is just a warrior. He'll take the shots. I gotta say a lot of credit again to Chandler here, where Chandler's the kind of guy that, hey, is he ready for this? I know that he, this kind of level of a fighter, where of course, again, we know that Chandler is top level, but again, he's a little bit older, been in another organization, is he gonna just steamroll, is Justin Gaethje gonna steamroll through him? Really a great fight. I did actually have as a client play Justin Gaethje in that fight. And this was a spot here where you're looking at it and he just kept taking the beating, both of these guys, taking shots. Both of them were rocked at different times, but he kind of kept picking it up. The pressure, I think, was too much. That's really how he was winning the rounds. He was just kind of landing up, piling up the damage. More, I guess, damaging shots. I think the strikes were very close, but the more damaging shots and really how Chandler didn't look that good. But either way, he goes out there and Justin Gaethje gets the victory. Now, with that being said, now the first thing here that we were kind of talking about, and again with Khabib, is the takedowns. Now, this is something that we're all going to be talking about up until this fight happens. Is, can Oliveira get the takedowns? Is he going to look for the submission? Is he going to mix it in behind some of his front kicks and try to look to level change? Is Gaethje going to be able to stay upright? He does not want to be on the ground with Oliveira. I think that there's a lot too much being said about this Khabib fight, and that people are really saying, hey, look what Khabib did. Khabib took him right down, and that was it. Khabib took him right down, and that's all he did, and he couldn't really defend anything. Now, obviously, they're different skill sets. First of all, you've got somebody like Khabib. He is not the type of submission specialist that Oliveira is, and that's why I think people say, hey, look how quickly he took him down, finished him. Oliveira has been lethal. He's got the most finishes, submission finishes in UFC history, all these things, all these high accolades, and I get that now. But I think it's a little bit overstated because it's Khabib. Now, Justin Gaethje currently has a 73% takedown defense rate. Oliveira is 41% success rate. I don't think that that's the kind of thing you're going to be seeing happening in this fight. I don't think that it's going to be this, hey, he's shooting for legs. I think that this is going to be more of a standing fight. I think that that's really where Justin's going to be able to create some space, keep on the outside a little bit, work some of his leg kicks, and just keep moving. And even in situations where, we've seen Oliveira, he is not Mr. Takedown. He's not when he gets on the ground, it could be the end of the fight at any point. And we even saw somebody like Michael Chandler kind of, had his back, able to get out of it. Again, credit to him. But I think that he can at least work the space a little bit. I think he can at least, Khabib's going to chain wrestle. He's going to get inside, he's going to chain wrestle, latch onto you, chain wrestle. And that's not something really that Oliveira does. Oliveira is, once he gets a hold of you, he's going to start submission hunting until you get up or until you get out of the situation. And that's obviously something that's going to be worrisome going in this fight. But also that you talk about here is the leg kicks. Now, we know that the leg kicks are going to be something important too here. We know that's going to be part of it. Now, the skinny legs of Charles Oliveira are not going to be taking the punishment that somebody like Michael Chandler's legs took or anybody else's legs. I mean, definitely the little bit skinnier side, which even other fighters have talked about. There's not much meat around those bones, those legs. You're going to be taking some shot. You're going to be taking punishment. It's going to pile up. And I think that's where you're going to see success from Gaethje. Now, I'm not telling you something you don't know. We know that he's got great leg kicks. I just think that a lot of that, even with Khabib, he was able to land a couple of nice leg kicks. And you could see already, Khabib was, in the first round, was like, holy shit. And then he just said, fuck it, and he just went for those takedowns. That's something, again, I don't think that way out of just diving at Gaethje, once he starts landing these leg kicks on Charles, is he going to have that success to say, hey, I'm going to take you right down? Again, statistically speaking, Gaethje has good takedown defense, and you can't, all that goes out the window when you're fighting somebody like Gaethje. I'm sorry, when you're fighting somebody like Khabib. But this is a spot here where Oliveira just isn't a guy who's just going to bulldoze forward and do that. He's going to work now in some of his strikes, and he has to now strike on the feet with Gaethje if he can defend those takedowns and at least stand. There's going to be spots where he's going to be up against the fence. He's going to be taken down, I'm sure, at certain points. But I just like the scrambling ability that Gaethje's able to do. I think that's going to also help him a lot. But I think one of the biggest pieces of this, to me, honestly, is how hittable Oliveira is. I mean, he is not this elusive guy. He's just starting to put together his striking, and he's really looked great. I mean, there is no doubt he has looked fantastic. in certain spots. Again, knocking out Chandler and just kind of, standing and banging with Poirier, landing nice shots. But this is, I think, the spot where if Gaethje lands one, it could be over. Now, I'm not saying that's how Gaethje's going to win, but I just don't think that at a striking fight, where I do believe this is going to be a lot of striking. I really believe this is going to be a lot on the feet. However long this goes, I don't really think this is going to be some grappling match that we were all talking about. Again, the Khabib versus Gaethje fight, we were all talking about that, saying this is Kenny, if he goes down, the fight's over. Again, Oliveira's not some guy who's just going to be ripping you to the ground. So I actually do like, in this spot, I like Justin Gaethje here. I think the price is good. The price went up. Again, now we're at plus 152 right now. I like that price. I think he lands one early. I think he hurts Oliveira early in that first round, and I think that starts to be the building blocks to have success later into this fight. He's durable. He can take shots. He's, if he can, again, he can defend those takedowns. He's able to take shots, and he wants to be in a war. I think that's really where we can see Oliveira crack, have issues, worrying about the leg kicks. All of a sudden, he's taking heavy shots to his head. We've seen in multiple fights, Oliveira's been rocked, dropped, by guys that don't even hit as hard as him. So I really do like this spot here. This is going to be a client play here. I like Justin Gaethje plus 152 to get the job done, be the new champion. I think goes out there, gets it done. So as my free play and as my client play, it's going to be Justin Gaethje at 152. And my other free play is going to be, speak of the devil, is going to be Michael Chandler versus Tony Ferguson. Now, this one right here, you've got the line is fairly wide here. We've got Michael Chandler minus 385. We've got Tony Ferguson coming back at plus 290 around. And actually, that kind of went down a little bit here. I saw Chandler, over 400. So quickly kind of going over this one here. And obviously, this is another situation here. We've got the wrestling of Chandler. You've got the well-rounded skill set, obviously, too, of Ferguson, his high-level ground game versus that wrestling. You've got the power we talked about of Chandler. You've got the grappling of Ferguson. All that stuff really is obviously a lot here. But this is another fight where I believe is going to be standing. I don't think this is going to be some grappling match. I don't think that Ferguson's going to be able to get Chandler down. I don't believe Chandler wants to be anywhere on the ground with Ferguson. Even in his guard, a lot of people are saying, hey, is Chandler going to go for that takedown, have top control, and then just kind of work him? Because other guys have done it. You've seen, Dariush do it. We've seen other people kind of do that to Ferguson. Is that going to be? That used to be where you don't want to be. That used to be where you do not want to be in Ferguson's guard. Elbows. He's creative with his submissions. You don't want to be there. And I just don't think Chandler wants that kind of fight. One, he loves to entertain. That's kind of the way that he goes. He wants to entertain. He wants to, be in these big brawling fights. So I don't even think it happens there. But again, I think that's a path to victory for Tony Ferguson if Chandler's looking for these takedowns and leaving his neck out. I don't think that's a good spot for him. So I do believe this is going to be more of a standing thing. But also, we've seen Ferguson really tilt off. Now, he's lost to top-level guys. There's no doubt about it. He's lost to Chandler, and he's lost to Oliveira, and he's lost all these guys that they're top level guys. So I get that, but he has just looked bad. I don't really think he's looked that great over the last 3 fights. He hasn't even won a round. He's been 10-8'd in a couple rounds in his last few fights. He has really tilted off here. So I think this is a spot here where, yes, the unorthodox fighting of Tony Ferguson is going to be tough. I think that's going to be something that's going to, obviously make it a little bit more tough for Chandler to, wherever he's going. Just how unorthodox he is, everyone knows that's an issue. But the movement for Ferguson really has dropped. Again, you look at some of the things that he used to do where he would be very, elusive and firing these odd-angled counters, and you're not really seeing it. And I just think that this is a spot here. He's had a lot of injuries over his career. He's had a lot of beatings. And yes, even Chandler has had some big beatings, big wars very recently. He's had also, so both of these guys have. But this is a spot here where both of these guys are durable. Both of these guys are tough. Both of these guys are willing to kind of, stand and bang, but be durable behind that. this is a spot here where I think this fight goes the distance here. So this is a spot here where I believe it's going to be competitive. I think both guys are going to be banging it out. I think it's going to be competitive. Even if you're having any clinching, I don't think much is going to be happening there. I believe that this is a spot where Michael Chandler goes out there and gets his victory via decision. You're getting off the minus 385, 400, wherever you're shopping it. Right now, Michael Chandler via points is plus 260. I think this is a spot here where both guys are going to last. Both guys are going to be having big shots. Neither guy's going to be tapping or being knocked out. I think they're going to give both of these guys also opportunity to keep the fight going. So if somebody gets rocked, we've seen it even with Tony, he gets rocked, and they just kind of keep it going because he can just somehow keep the engine on and keep the lights on and keep battling. I think that's something that can happen here. I think it'll be competitive in spots, but I like Michael Chandler via points, getting off the minus 385 number and turning that into plus 260. Give me Michael Chandler via the points as my other free play. So those are my free plays for UFC 274. If you want to check out my 5% best bet play, my max play down below, I will then hopefully be going 11-3 over the last 14 of these. So there you have it. If you want to become a client, link that in the description. And this is Kyle Anthony's UFC betting show, and I'll see you next time.